Welcome back to Trailblaze Tactics, Trailblazers. Today, we are going to expose exactly how HoYoverse manipulates the meta and how you can use their own design philosophy against them to build the ultimate free-to-play account. For the last few weeks, the community has been absolutely losing its mind over the projected combat data for SP Silverwolf. Everyone is focused on her massive damage multipliers and her shift to the Elation path, but they are completely missing the bigger picture. SP Silverwolf is not just a new character. She is the final piece of a puzzle that HoYoverse started building months ago. Today, we are diving deep into the delayed payoff blueprint. I'm going to explain why pulling for generic, universal units is becoming a thing of the past, how the upcoming Punchlines and Thrills ecosystem is creating an isolated combat loop, and why characters that the community originally called skippable, like Yao Guang, are suddenly becoming the most valuable assets in the entire game. If you want to stop chasing the meta and start predicting it, grab a seat. Let's get tactical. To understand where Honkai Star Rail is heading, you have to understand how gacha developers structure their power creep. In the 1.0 and 2.0 eras, the game was ruled by universal supports. You pulled a Harmony character, you put them on any team, and your numbers went up. It was simple. But HoYoverse knows they cannot sell you the exact same universal buffer every single year, so they evolved the game into the Archetype Era. Here is their secret blueprint. They design a fully cohesive, unstoppable four-man team internally, but instead of releasing them all at once, they drip-feed them to us backward. They release the highly specific, slightly weird niche supports first. When characters like Sparksy and Yao Guang were dropped, a massive portion of the player base looked at them and said, "Why would I pull an Elation enabler when we don't even have a premium Elation hypercarry yet?" The general consensus was to skip them, but HoYoverse was just planting the seeds. They want the community to doubt the archetype, because months later, they drop the tactical nuke, the character that pulls the entire ecosystem together. That is exactly what SP Silverwolf represents. She is the delayed payoff for every single player who took a risk on the Elation Foundation. Let's look at the actual projected combat mechanics that make this blueprint work. SP Silverwolf is not just an Elation damage dealer, she is a localized economy. According to the latest theorycrafting data, her kit revolves around two specific mechanics, Punchlines and Thrills. As combat progresses, she accumulates these stacks to charge her ultimate abilities and multiply her damage. But here's the genius design twist. She can't do it alone, and she can't do it with generic supports. The data indicates that her internal scaling requires exactly 3 Elation units to activate her maximum potential. If you put a generic, non-Elation buffer on her team, you are artificially capping her damage. She operates in a closed ecosystem. Think of it like a gear system in a clock. SP Silverwolf is the massive mainspring that delivers the power, but she cannot turn unless the smaller gears, the other Elation units, are actively spinning and feeding her kinetic energy. This completely redefines team building. You are no longer drafting characters, you are drafting a singular, cohesive combat machine. This mechanical revelation is sending shockwaves through the community, and it is causing a massive reevaluation of characters we left in the rearview mirror. Let's talk about Yao Guang. When she was on her banner, the community was incredibly divided. F2P players were hesitant to pull a specialized enabler. But look at the landscape now. With the projected requirement of a 3 Elation roster, Yao Guang has instantly shot up from a luxury pull to an absolute tier 0 necessity for this archetype. Players who pulled Yao Guang for fun or simply because they liked her design are currently experiencing the ultimate vindication. Their account value just skyrocketed without them having to spend a single extra stellar jade. They inadvertently bought the real estate before the mall was built. Meanwhile, the players who strictly chase generic, universal tier lists are realizing they are completely locked out of the highest ceiling team in the upcoming 4.x cycle. This is the danger of waiting for the perfect character. By the time the hypercarry arrives, the necessary supports have already left the banner cycle. So how do you, as a free-to-play or low-spending player, use this information to secure your account's future? You have to learn how to spot the delayed payoff before it happens. Moving forward, whenever HoYoverse introduces a character that seems overly hyper-specialized, a character that buffs a very specific weird mechanic that no current top-tier DPS utilizes, do not ignore them. That is the developer explicitly telling you what the meta is going to look like in 4 months. If a future support character drops and their entire kit is built around enhancing the speed of summoned entities, and you think to yourself, well, I don't use summons right now, so I'll skip. Stop. That is the Yao Guang situation all over again. That support is the engine for a catastrophic summon DPS that is currently sitting in HoYoverse's development pipeline. Your F2P strategy needs to shift from who does the most damage today to what mechanical ecosystem is HoYoverse building for tomorrow. If you commit to an archetype early, whether that is follow-up, DOT, super break, or this new Elation loop, you have to trust the blueprint and pull the enablers. Ultimately, SP Silverwolf is going to be an absolute monster, but her existence is a lesson in long-term account management. If you have Sparkly and Yao Guang sitting in your roster right now, you are holding a royal flush. Prepare your Ascension materials because you are about to rule the Plan Arcadia endgame. If you don't have that Elation foundation, do not panic, but do not force it. Recognize that this specific delayed payoff wasn't meant for your account. Save your jades, observe the next wave of niche supports, and get in on the ground floor of the next archetype HoYoverse builds. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Are you a proud Yao Guang owner who is celebrating this theorycrafting data? Or are you a universal support loyalist who is going to skip this entire Elation ecosystem? Let's debate the Archetype Era down below. If this deep dive completely changed how you look at the Honkai Star Rail meta, do me a massive favor and hit that like button. It is the best way to support Trailblaze tactics and feed the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another tactical breakdown, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.